Blackstone Audiobooks presents The Life and Times of William Shakespeare by Peter Levi. Dedication reads, "For Deirdre, to whom this book belongs more than any other." The introduction is preceded by a passage in Latin. In paradisum deducant te angeli, in tuo adventus suscipiant te martires, e perducant te in civitatem sanctam Jerusalem, et cum Lazaro quandam paupere aeternam habeas requiem. Introduction. It is tempting to write about Shakespeare because he is not only the greatest but also the most interesting of the English poets. He has the most contradictions and the most to say. Admittedly, those who call for the biographies and local backgrounds of poets rather than for the pure liquor of their verses are a bit like the old His Master's Voice dog peering in stupefaction down the horn of the gramophone. But history and family connection do as much to throw light on Shakespeare as a poet as academic criticism has done, and maybe more. The problem is that England and Stratford and the Elizabethan age are all somehow part of his great mystery, and all three are potently mythical. Every generation has to make its own attempt to get at the truth, and we shall not succeed unless we allow for the enormous difference that separates Shakespeare from our own world. Even the theatre, in which he seems to communicate so immediately, is ours and not his, and therefore a barrier as well as a link. We read Shakespeare in our own voices. I want to put Shakespeare's poetry in the context of his life and times. It is some years since the last full-scale and critical biography of Shakespeare, and so much knowledge has now become available that bears on him, some of it even while I have been working on this book, that a new attempt to relate his life history to his work is obviously worth making. It is an axiom of method that the facts of his life, including the dates of his plays and poems, must be established as firmly as possible and without wishful thinking before those facts can be related to his writings. One must not make up fantasies about the bank where the wild thyme blew. Many inspiring and misleading writers about Shakespeare impart to his characters and passages of his plays an experience of life they merely imagine, building conjecture on conjecture and cobweb on cobweb. Between severe critics and enthusiastic and conjectural biographers there is now a great gulf fixed. You cannot get at Shakespeare's life through fragments of cloudy glass chipped from his plays. His life and background must be studied separately, and only then will the relationship of his life and his work become clear. All the same, a great deal about...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?